Welcome to Beyond Our Focus. I'm Stefan. This is Amanda. This is kind of Halloween, and so we're slightly dressed up, at least for a moment or two. This mask's going to have to come off. It's killing me. It is Tuesday, October 30th, the day before Halloween. So we're celebrating because we have nothing to post on Halloween itself. So This is Breaking Prisms also, and today we'll be going over the second episode of the second season of Black Mirror, if I can remember the name.
Yes.
And you've seen me in my fancy Scream outfit, and you've heard my muffled voice. So this is coming up. It's too much.
It's okay. You'll still be wearing your dress.
Exactly. But the mask. Oh, there we go.
Oh, look, we can.
I was nobody
finally
before the
hear you.
mask.
Oh. Could you imagine if your Halloween costume was the mask?
The mask. Oh, I would like to do that. Let's see if I can. We'll make the ears cool. I just wanted the mask to be. Whatever.
Just put it on the skull or something.
There we go.
But, no, it reminded me of a post I saw today, I think it was. Where it said, this can't be good, or this can't end well. And it was a picture of Deadpool holding the mask and looking like he's about to put it on. No,
it cannot. You would talk about being insane. That would be completely insane. But anyways, today's episode will be on the show. Episode name is White Bear.
So Black Mirror, episode 2 of season 2, called White Bear.
Yes. We'll get to it eventually after 4 or 5 minutes of taking off a mask and everything else. Well, we will get there.
It's a Halloween special. It's not supposed to be perfect.
Fun stuff.
How dare you just make fun of Halloween?
Well, I make fun of everything, so is it really surprising?
Okay, so how do we want to start this?
I mean, do you know how we normally start? I mean, you as usual take very little notes.
Yeah.
And I take too many. So.
Okay, so to begin with, the episode opens up with a woman literally waking up in a chair. She's very disheveled. She looks like she's sweating and woke up from a nightmare.
Yeah.
More or less, the first thing she does is ow, like she got hit in the back of the head, so she holds her head for a minute.
Yeah. She looks down at her wrist, and both have been bandaged.
Yes.
It's like, that's peculiar. Did she try to do something along with the bottle of open pills on the ground?
There's like a couple of bottles. Like there's 3 different kinds of pills just sprawled across the carpet. And she kind of looks down. And that's like the first note I wrote was suicide attempt?
That's what it looks like. You open up, I mean, between bandaged wrist and pills everywhere, it definitely looks like some type of attempt on suicide.
So the next thing she notices is the TV is on and there is just a logo. It's black with a white logo.
Yeah, it looks like almost like a ship from like one of the old 8-bit games.
Space Invaders.
Yeah.
Like just do.
Or like a Tetris block almost.
Yeah. So she notices that, and it kind of, I guess we could have opened up with the weird intro that this one had, which was all kind of like weird staticky pixelated pictures, just kind of.
Yeah, they did something a little bit different for this one. It makes you think, like, is something wrong almost?
Yeah. And you kind of hear this off tone. Like, it's one of those, it's not really prominent, but you don't know it's there until she shuts off the TV, and then suddenly it's just silence.
Yeah, it's kind of an annoying tone. It is. It's coming from the television along with that fancy symbol they have going on.
Yes, and so I think at that point, when she first looks at the TV, is when she gets her first kind of staticky, like, how they represent things happening in her head is the same staticky picture way. Like, just.
Yeah, she seems to be confused and dazed. Doesn't seem to really know what's going on. She glances at a calendar briefly.
Yep, she ends up getting out of the chair, walking down. Wow. she walks down the stairs and kind of looks around the place like kind of has that lost look.
Yes.
Like, where am I?
Even though she seems to recognize a few things.
Yes. So, of course, the first thing we notice is the calendar, which is marked all the way through October until the 18th.
Yep. 17 days are marked off the calendar.
Yes. And then the next thing she notices is the picture.
Yes. Picture of a little girl next to her and what you would assume would be some type of spouse.
Yes. And, well, the thing, it's like, the picture is, the little girl's picture is kind of weird, because it's kind of like put into the frame. It's not with them.
There's a picture of her and him, and there's a small picture put in the frame next to her and him.
Yes, and it's a little girl, and she kind of picks up the picture, and she gets some weird, kind of like the static memory things of the girl playing, and...
Yeah, which we'll continue to get repeatedly. That seems to be a thing here.
And so she kind of looks at it like, maybe I recognize this, and she puts it in her pocket. It's either before or after this, like either right when she comes down the stairs and before the calendar, or right after this, she's like, she sees a glass sitting on the counter and just runs over to it like her life depends on it, gets some water, and is
I think that was as soon as she came down the stairs.
Yeah, starts chugging it down. So we know that she has to have been out for quite a while. Either that or she has some serious hangover.
No, I don't think she's been out for quite a while. I just think she may have had water or whatever the incident may be, that she's thirsty for whatever reason.
But yeah, she's just chugging that water down. I was like, I've been there before.
You get thirsty sometimes. Water's good for you. Drink it. So she wanders outside.
Yeah, that was my next note was that the sliding door was open. Like after she takes the picture, she looks up and the sliding door is like partly open. She first notices that she has a pair of shoes just laying on the ground and like neatly put next to her a chair, like a lounge chair, and then a jacket. So she puts on the jacket and just I just was kind of weirded out that the door was just open, but
I didn't even realize the door was open.
Yeah, the sliding door was just open, and all I could think of was every zombie movie ever. Like, just where someone wakes up, there's nobody around, because she does go, hello, and nobody answers.
This is like Rick at the very beginning of the season. 1. Wakes up, doesn't know what's going on, there's no one around, what's happening, things are open, things are going on. So she wanders outside, and the very first person she sees, which I don't know which person it was first, but the first person she sees just has a cell phone up.
Yeah.
It looks like they're filming her.
Yeah, she's just like, she looks up at all the windows, because it's like kind of a, what is it, a duplex? Pretty much it's an apartment complex where all of them are literally sharing a wall. And so she looks up at these windows and she notices someone standing there with a camera. And then she looks at another window and it still...
Someone with a camera!
So all of these windows, everybody's just standing there with cameras out. And then while she's facing that way, you are looking down the fence and you just see this little girl kind of standing there and you just hear click. So it's like, why are these people just,
Why does everyone seem to be interested in her for no reason whatsoever?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Why would this little girl want a picture of her? Like, it just...
Yep, and we just keep seeing more people, and then at some point very soon after this, a vehicle pulls up at the end of the block.
Literally what terrified me, though, is because... Of course, she sees these people. She's like, hello, can you help me? No one's answering her. She starts walking away, and suddenly people start appearing out of nowhere with their phones out. Like, literally herds of people just... Mm-hmm. And so when she kind of starts to jog, they kind of start to jog. Then your happy little vehicle pulls up.
And it's a guy in a ski mask with that symbol on his mask. Goes to his trunk, opens up, pulls out a shotgun...
Yeah.
And things start getting, okay, this is not good. No. Don't know what's going on. Got a bunch of people with cell phones. Dude with a shotgun.
Yeah, none of the other people in the area react to him with his shotgun except her. She obviously is like, what the hell? He, of course, shoots at her, or shoots towards her, and she books. Like, she just...
Oh, no, it's time to go. It's time to...
She starts running, and of course, suddenly an entire herd of people are following her with their cameras out, running with her. Like an animal in a really messed up zoo. Like... So I think that was one of the main things that creeped me out about this entire thing so far, is that you have a bunch of people who are not responding to your cries of help, just videotaping you, not saying a damn thing to you. And it's not just one or two people. It's like, it would be zombies. It's like, This would be the zombies right here.
Yes, it would. It very much would. But yeah, we're still confused. She keeps going till she comes across a store.
Yeah, there was like a gas station, because there was someone outside pumping gas, and she sees them and goes, "Help me!" And immediately the person like throws down the pump and is like, "We gotta go! Like, we gotta go now!" And tries to get a hold of her other person.
Yes, who's inside the gas station.
Yeah.
So they go in there. These two definitely know each other. Mm-hmm. They start trying to hide, I think, because they see the man in the mask, because he's followed her.
Yes. Pretty much you get the sense of they wanted, in any case, like, they wanted to avoid her. As soon as they saw her, they're like, no, we can't be near you. But being that it was too late, they're all in the same gas station, might as well stick together.
Well, so they're trapped in there. He's at the front door. For whatever reason, doesn't just shoot the glass to break it. Decides he's going to slowly beat on the window with the butt of the gun. While the other girl goes like, "I'm going to try to get through the back."
Yes.
So she takes a fire extinguisher and starts trying to bust down the back door.
Yes.
And it's like, if he comes in, grab him.
Yes. She told her friend, "You grab him and try to get the gun. You help him." Points to the girl, says, "You help him."
Yeah.
She's like, "No." He's like, "You're going to help him." She's like, "I can't do this."
So needless to say, he gets in.
Yes.
Home dude does grab him. And then the girl just says, "Nope. Not going to deal with this."
She just kind of sits there for a while and stares. They're doing their little wrestling around thing. And other girl gets the door finally busted open, and immediately...
Pretty much everyone bails on him.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, we appreciate your sacrifice. Bruce."
So they run out. They hear a gunshot, of course. They're hiding behind something. He comes out holding his stomach and just falls over.
Yeah, he's been shot.
And suddenly, all the people with the cameras start just merging around him.
Yep. Oh, let's take a picture. What is this? What's going on? Let's film what's happening.
And the main girl's just confused. She has no idea why these people are acting
confused.
this way.
We're confused.
Yes.
We don't know what's going on.
The other girl seems to be okay with it. She's like, because immediately when she sees him get shot, all she says is, "Ugh, they got him."
What a shame. This guy I was with, he got shot. Not a big deal, I guess.
So pretty much, they're like, "We got to get out of here. We got to go."
Well, actually, I think the other ones run up, don't they?
The other ones?
The other hunters. The other two?
Yes. The other two hunters show up, and she's like...
Now we have to go. We have to go. We have to leave.
Because they get out of their vehicle and start going towards the crowd, and she's like, "What are they doing?" And she says, "They like to scare people." And so immediately they run the opposite direction while they're heading towards the crowd.
Yep, we got a guy like a welding mask and a girl like a bunny mask or something with a meat cutter.
Yeah, it's like a turkey carver. It's like, nee.
So they start running away, and then just this van pulls up right in front of them.
Almost hits him.
Yep. They're like, "Get in." And, well, we like this guy now we don't know why, but we like this guy.
So the second girl jumps in right away, and main girl's like, nah, I'm good.
I'm good. I don't really want to jump in the van.
Yeah.
But she gets out, she grabs her, like, we have to go. And then they take off, and the girl with her meat cutter comes up and kind of goes in the van, and it makes...
Well, the first thing we find out is that the girl does have a plan of sorts. Because the first thing they do is they run into a house. And while they're in the house, she tells her about this plan or what happened. She's like, where have you been?
Forgot about that. Yes, they go to the house first.
She's like, where have you been? Because this chick has no idea what's going on. And so she tells her that there was a signal that has just mesmerized everybody. And it's making them just, be attached and have to just observe everything. And then you have the hunters.
Yes, because the signal didn't affect everyone. Like 9 out of 10 people it affected, but the other one it didn't. And these people realized that, well, they can just do whatever they want and no one's going to do anything about it.
It would be like the Purge in a sense. They just took the entire situation as the Purge except year round.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they do whatever they want, however they want to do it.
So she tells her, and then she says that her plan is to not, they have to get from point A to point B because point B is a safe zone. But there's a tower in the middle, a radio tower, that she wants to take down before they get to their safe zone.
Yep.
So, and this certain town or certain tower is called White Bear.
White Bear, the name of the episode.
Yay!
And then people start recognizing him, and then they leave and get in the van and blah, 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 and start going to where this... Very shortly after, he starts asking a few questions. She's like, I think I know you. I don't think so.
Yeah, because he pretty much already flat out said, I'm not driving you to the radio tower.
Yeah, I'm not driving you there.
Yeah. And then she's like, I know you. And he's like, no, you don't. She's like, your safe zone is in the woods. Your safe spot is in the woods. Because he's like, I have a safe spot. It's like... What really happened to you, lady? Why? How do you know? Is this a premonition kind of thing, or what's going on? And so, once again, the second girl seems to be just kind of okay with it.
Yeah, she's cool with everything. She's not really affected by any of this.
Yep. So, of course, they pull up to none other than the woods.
Of course, the woods.
And let's see what happened next was they got out of the vehicle and he's like, oh, I have something to show you.
You're going to really like it.
Yes.
So he disappears for a moment and comes back with a shotgun.
Always with the shotguns. Jeez. And so it was like, second girl immediately takes a couple steps to run and he's like, you run, I'll shoot you.
Yep. Oh, go figure. He's a hunter. Or, let me phrase it. He pulls out, at some point right in that area, he has the mask as well. We saw earlier, he looks like he's the same hunter from earlier.
Yes, he does have the mask with the same symbol on it. And he tells the first girl to put it on backwards so she can't see anything. But you're like, why wouldn't he have two masks or something? Why would he only mask one? It was weird
that he wanted to cover her. And it's like, well, you guide her, but they don't go far, and she can kind of see through it, or at least from the view they keep giving us. It's like, this whole thing's weird.
Yeah, as soon as she lets go of her shoulder, she kind of veers off, and she's like, hey, stop her. But it's just one of those weird things, why would you only cover one? Wouldn't you come up with something to blind the second person?
You would think.
I don't know. And so they get led down, and... you can see people hanging from these weird...
cross-like things on trees?
Yeah, I wouldn't really... Yeah, that's pretty much the best way you could describe it, so...
I mean, they're hanging from trees from, a board that's stuck... It looks like they're being crucified on these trees.
And you see a noose hanging from a tree. You see all these weird things. And... so they get led down kind of to the center of it. At some point, she's allowed to take off her mask. I don't know. Yeah,
they take off the mask. Earlier, as soon as they arrived, he had said, see, no signal. We ain't got any signal down here.
Yeah.
And after they get down there, and he gets to take off the mask and blah, blah, he gets a phone call.
Oh, yeah. He gets a phone call. Second girl just, whoo.
As soon as he's on the phone, she bounces. She's like, I'm out.
And he can't hear the rustling of the leaves.
Yeah.
She just... doesn't see her until she's already too far
and
to really
then he just kind of gives up.
Accurate hit on her. He shoots once and is like, it's not worth it.
Not worth the chaser.
So suddenly the first girl's left on her own.
Yeah.
and
kind of ties her to this post or this log tree thing.
And suddenly, people just start coming out of the woods with their cameras
to watch the whole thing.
Yes, and he starts acting like he's putting on a show. He's like, "Hey, everybody, I'm gonna put on a great show for you guys today."
Pulls out a drill.
Yes, and pretty much puts it like right directly on her spine.
Yeah. She's gonna get jacked up.
Yes, and then you hear just click, and suddenly the drill's pulled away and turns off. And you realize, hey, second girl came back.
She came back because she grabbed this gun.
Yes. And no mercy, just bam.
Shoots him.
Yep.
That's done. It's like, oh, you came back for me. No. I came back for my stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't need you. I needed my stuff.
So she grabs her backpack, starts heading off, and is like, are you coming? Like, he's like, okay, so.
She's been overly friendly to this girl she knows nothing about.
Yes. So they take off running, and you just see behind them as they're running, people converging on the guy that's been shot with their little cameras, just taking pictures and stuff of him.
And of course, this entire time, she keeps getting little flashes. Like little memories here and there of just random things. This little girl, just different little things.
Mostly, it's just the same video of the little girl playing, and kind of a side view of her fiancé. Like, just...
Yeah, we keep getting that.
But as she gets closer and closer to White Bear, she starts having more and more darker ones. We can't really tell what's going on, but you know they're kind of shifty and they're giving her a bad feeling. So, of course, they pull up to White Bear because they have taken his vehicle.
Yes, they took his van and they're heading to White Bear. We're going to White Bear. We're getting rid of the transmission. We'll be safe after that.
Meanwhile, I do think at some point... when they first get to his vehicle, the hunters pull up and start banging on. Like one guy has a baseball bat and is hitting the side. She takes her little cutter thing and is like leaning against the door, but they don't really do any damage.
No.
So they drive off, and it's like a reoccurring thing that happens is apparently if someone sees you with their camera, it's signaled to the hunters. Like,
yes.
She always says, if they catch you on camera, or if they catch you, the hunters aren't far.
Mm-hmm.
So it's being transmitted to the hunters where people are.
Yes, so they can find them and whatnot.
So they get to White Bear, and immediately she's like, "This is a bad idea. Something's wrong with White Bear. We can't go in there."
Of course, it doesn't stop the girl. She cuts the chain open. They go in anyway.
Also, another weird thing that I realized about this entire episode: no names, just no names.
Yeah, that's why you have Girl 1 and Girl 2 and this guy and.
Yes, because there's no names uttered. I think maybe when they're at the gas station, she says her friend's name once.
Maybe so.
But I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't write down anyone's name because the names don't seem to come up.
Yeah. So they break in, convinces the girl to go through the gate with her. They get into the radio control room.
Yep, and of course there's a whole bunch more of those little white symbols everywhere lit up.
Well, that's the weird thing, is that Girl 1 has turned to the wall where there's symbols and radio controls. But Girl 2 is really focused on the opposite side that just looks like regular control equipment. Like, she seems more interested in trying to damage that than the giant wall behind them with the symbols you think would mean that's what you need to stop.
She's throwing gas on the control panels because they're going to burn the place down.
Yes.
When the hunters show up.
Yep, and she of course has the lighter and is like, "Don't come any closer." And the little lady with her turkey cutter
swats the lighter away, and then this is finally when Girl 1 fights back.
Yes, she the turkey cutter girl slices Girl 2's arm and then wrestles her to the ground, and you can hear a stabbing as though she actually shanked her at some point. But then Girl 1 finally grabs the shotgun from the dude, which he seems to be a really big pushover because
Yeah, but we're going to find out that maybe that's kind of the point.
And so then just turns around and bang.
She shoots him! Shoots him dead! With confetti. There's only confetti in this shotgun!
It's not even, like... Not even... It's like bright pink confetti, like different shades of pink.
Now, what did you think about this when it happened? Because I've seen the episode before, so my perspective was very different than yours.
When I first thought it happened, like when I first saw that happen, and then the walls start opening up behind her, I thought she was on some sort of game show. Like, I literally thought, like, some weird game show was going on, and she had just won... You know, like a giant prank show, pretty much. That's the vibe that I had gotten at first, is that it opens up, there's an entire crowd of people just applauding and clapping and cheering, and she's just standing there just stunned. Like, she has no idea. So that was my first instinct, was it was just a giant prank show, somebody had gotten
What did you think about the rest of the episode, though? Like, what was your thoughts about this episode?
Holy shit.
Like, I forget, you haven't seen this. I have. So I have a completely different outlook of how the episode's going.
Literally, my notes literally go, what the ... and then White Bear, then Baxter, which is the first name we get, and Baxter's the main dude. Like, the main guy. He's the one that was in the truck. He's the one that... tied her to the log, stuff like that. His name is Baxter. But my last note was just mind trip. Holy wow. That was literally my last note. So I actually enjoyed... It was cruel as fuck. But I mean, at the same time, reminded me of other things. And also...
Well, we're going to get a little bit further in now. So, you assume, maybe she's on a game show. What's going on? And then the girl who'd been stabbed and the hunters. They start taking her over here. They put her in a chair. They walk her to the chair.
Yeah, like the first thing you realize, because as I said, like it has that very game show vibe. Like, woo! Everybody's lined up. It looks like they're all going to take a bow, except there's this random chair sitting in the middle. And they put her in the chair, and then suddenly the shackles and stuff, and you're like, okay, maybe this isn't over. Like,
no! And that's the thing, is you're only about, out of this 45-minute episode, you're about 30 minutes in. Yeah. And there's still 15 minutes. Yeah, what are we doing for the next...
I actually checked at that moment, because I was like, well, what's left? And it was like 10 minutes, and I was like...
Where else can we go from here?
Yeah.
A lot of exposition, that's where we can go from here.
We figure out what's really going on.
And first you feel bad. Like, really bad for this girl.
Yes.
Like, what's going on? Why are they doing this to her? Why, who, what, when, where? And we start getting some answers.
Yes.
Real quick.
Baxter appears, the same guy that... He was the original hunter. He's the one that took them in the van. He's the one that got shot. Like... He is the mastermind.
He's the ringleader here.
And he shows up and he's like, did you enjoy that, everyone? Like, the show's not over. And I'm sure you're wanting answers, or you're wanting to know who you are. Well, let's show you who you are. Mm-hmm. And then screens with her face appear.
Yeah, her face as a criminal.
Yes,
a
very mugshot without the sign.
Yeah.
But you can tell it was like straight mugshot.
Yeah.
And then, do you recognize this person? And it's another mugshot look, and it's of her fiance.
Yes, her actual real life fiance.
Yes. And then the picture of the little girl. The same picture that she's been carrying around.
Which, I mean... What was your assumption about the little girl?
I thought it was her daughter. Like,
exactly.
Because that's exactly what she told someone. It's because she's like, I think this is my daughter. And like someone else asked a bit about the picture, and she's like, I think it's my daughter. Oh, you don't know? No, but I think it's my daughter. Yes, so I was going with daughter.
Yeah. Not exactly.
No. Apparently not. So that is the big reveal. We find out that they indeed... Her and her fiance are both criminals.
They're criminals, and they kidnapped this little girl.
Yes.
They don't say why. We don't really get a motive of why they did what they did. But they kidnapped this little girl.
Yes. They were charged with kidnapping, and then also it turns out that, of course, then they're like, and yes, the body was found in the woods. The same kind of area that,
I took you.
Yeah. So it was pretty much you suddenly, it's like, okay, so not only is she part of a kidnapping, she's now part of a murder. Oh, but it gets darker.
Yeah, she didn't kill the little girl.
No.
The fiancé killed the little girl. But she filmed the entire thing.
Yes. On her camera, on her phone.
Yep.
She pretty much the entire thing was, you may not have killed her, but you sat there and watched. You did nothing. You said nothing.
She complied. I mean, if you filmed the whole thing, you were a part of it.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what he's told her. He's like, you said nothing. You did nothing. You just watched.
Oh, and by the way, also, the symbol we've been seeing, this white symbol, this little thing that's been everywhere, is the tattoo on the back of her fiancé's neck.
Yes, except it's black instead of white.
Yes.
Obviously.
But it's that. Oh, and while they were looking for this little girl the entire time, they happened to come across a white bear, teddy bear, which was a symbol of hope for people to find this little girl alive.
Yes, that was... Apparently, that little girl had a white teddy bear, and so that's what they started putting out, like at the grave places, the memorial places and stuff, was these white teddy bears. And so we get white bear, we get the symbol, we
get the filming, because she filmed it, so they get the filming of everything.
So here you have this criminal, and of course she starts sobbing.
Oh, she's sobbing.
You don't really know if she's trying to say I'm sorry, or if I don't remember, or like, it's like a mixture of a whole bunch of words because she's just crying. And of course, once again, you realize why the guy was so harsh, because earlier Baxter, when he first put the gun on her and she started crying, he's like, stop crying. Like, he says it so harsh, as though she did something personal to him. And then now we see it again. She's sitting in the chair, just shackled and crying, and he's like, you need to stop crying. And it's like, now it's justified. Like,
the thing is, you start by feeling really bad for this girl. You don't know what's going on. You're with her. You've lost your memory. You're looking for your daughter. And then once you start getting more details, it's like, no, you are a terrible person.
Yes. And so pretty much it's like, what now? Like, what could possibly happen now? Like, what is the point?
Well, also, her fiancé hung himself in prison.
Yes.
So most people feel like he avoided justice by hanging himself.
Yes. And that being said, they feel like they need to take more justice out on her, since she not only is still living, but is... because she didn't do anything. Because she literally filmed the entire thing. And so we get why she ended up at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, they take her away, they put her in a vehicle that has glass around it, he makes a big speech, people are chanting and saying terrible things to her, yes. They are throwing tomatoes at the vehicle.
Which, those are like the reddest tomatoes I have ever seen.
Oh, no, they're all like blood red.
I
throwing organs instead?
I almost thought it was water balloons with like fake blood or something in it, because that was how...
Yeah, it
was like deep, just horror movie red. But yes, so she's being... pretty much carried away,
and they bring her back to the house from the very beginning of the episode.
How do you like how they're carrying her? Because she's in that shackled chair, and they literally have poles like she's a coffin, and they're just carrying her.
Well, just leave her in the chair.
Yeah. So taken to the same room, set up right in front of the TV.
Yep, and then he starts preparing everything. He pulls out a couple bottles of pill. He spreads the pills on the ground and throws the bottle on the ground.
Yeah,
And
just like starts talking to her about what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you remember everything right now, but and it takes about 30 minutes, and
he puts some device on her head,
yeah.
and
it just immediately it has a tone,
it's apparently very painful.
Well, at first it's not. That's the thing, is that he's like, so while before that kicks in, here, let me put this on for you, and puts the tape in.
Of which she filmed.
Yes. And it's the little girl playing. So that's why we had seen that throughout the entire episode. And so she's just, like, right after that, kind of things get dark. You kind of see little glimpses of the fiancé, and then suddenly shock. Like, it looks like something is stabbing into her brain.
Yeah, because it is at least temporarily erasing her memory.
Yes.
So she doesn't know what's going on, so she can do this again. And very shortly after this, we see him downstairs, go to the calendar, and mark out day 18.
Yep.
Which means, of course, she's done this 18 times.
We don't even know that. Like, unless...
Well, I think it's the natural assumption.
Yes.
That's why they did the calendar.
Well, no. I just meant, like, for all we know, it could have been before that.
Well, I know, but I mean, it's assumed 18 times.
Yes.
Because I think that's just the whole thing. She's been doing this for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
They keep doing this over and over to her. This is her punishment for what she did.
And that's the thing, is that, like, literally you see everything being set up. Like, they go downstairs.
We go to the... I was going to say, I don't remember. But they go through the credits and we start seeing things.
Before that, like, as he's sprinkling the pills, like, while she's screaming, they're just casually downstairs wiping out the glass, setting it on the counter, putting her shoes in the right place, making sure the picture of the girl isn't crinkled up too much, and putting it back in the frame. And then that's pretty much when it's...
We cut the credits, but in between all the credits, we keep getting flashes of how this works. What this is, exactly.
Literally, it was a meeting at a justice center where there's a bunch of people in the crowd.
Yeah. Well, it's called White Bear Justice Park.
Yes.
Is what it's called. And they're saying, oh, there's 3 rules when you're here. Don't get too close. And no talking unless absolutely necessary.
Literally, they didn't even say that. They just said no talking, not to her, and especially not to each other.
Unless it's absolutely necessary.
Really?
It does say that.
I didn't hear that part.
Because we want her to believe that you're all mesmerized by your phones.
And they all laugh at that.
And it's like, well, she's believed it up to this time.
Yeah. And so, pretty much... That was rule 1. Rule 2, of course, was don't get too close. They said that she is a dangerous person.
Yes.
And they said, what 3 kilometers, I think it was?
Something like that.
But they're like, you can take pictures, you can take video, you can pretty much do whatever you want, just don't get too close to her. And then the last rule was...
Have fun.
Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourself.
Yes.
Exactly. Because also the girl who led her around the entire time
yes,
said,
girl 2.
Girl 2, if things get our hand, we're all equipped with tasers.
Yes.
Which I forgot we didn't mention during the actual...
yes.
At some point, when they're hiding in the house, before getting into the van, she sees these people and she wants to talk to them. She wants to know why are they doing what they're doing? Yes. And she approaches them. And then eventually, after she gets too close, the girl gets in front of her with a taser.
Yes. She chases down one of the guys, and he kind of trips and then drops his phone and runs. And so she grabs the phone, and that's when you just see a taser right in front of her face. Like, zzz. It's like...
And you're like, why would this girl care if she goes after one of these zombie people?
Apparently, it wasn't that she went after him. It was that she had the phone. She's like, don't look at the screen. That's how the signal gets you. And she's like, she kind of like glanced. She's like, don't look at the screen. And so then I guess she drops the phone, I assume. Like, it doesn't really... I think that's when the hunters show up, and so they have to run.
She gets some more little flashes of stuff, and she drops the phone, and they run off. But, yeah, so they're... After seeing everything, we keep going through, and they show you the kind of, like, brief snippets of the next day that this is happening. Yeah. And it's like, oh, this is how they do it. It's like, oh, girl 2 and the guy who ended up getting shot. They're back there eating sandwiches.
Yes.
And they get a call. Yeah, she's almost to where we're going to be. And well, you better get ready and go over there and prepare for our part.
It shows the woods, and it shows the people kind of like the people who are hung up are leaning on ladders, and it's like, oh, they're almost to you, and they take the ladders away, and so
it shows the whole production that goes in to leading this girl around aimlessly, but not, because she's being led. This is why this girl 2 has been so friendly. She's led her to where they want her to be.
Yes.
Over and over. That's what the beginning of the house is. That's why the door's open, because they want you to. They want her to be led to go out that door. They want everything. The shoes are there. The coat's there. Yes. The outside. Everything's perfectly prepared to make her go in a very particular route. So people can film her and take photos and like, oh, let's watch as the criminal doesn't know what's going on. Yeah. And what a interesting, cool thing to do to people.
It was pretty twisted. It's kind of one of those, wait, is this worse than the death penalty? Like, what?
See, it's almost justified. Only in the way, this is them doing to her, technically, almost what she did to this little girl.
Yes.
It's so...
It's really just crazy. Like, I really enjoyed this episode just because of how... To me, it was like watching a psychological thriller, which I love. So it really just played with your mind a lot. It also, at the very end, of course, going over, setting everything up, it's reminded me of when I used to work at the different haunts that I did, because it was the same thing. Like, you go through the haunt, like you scare people or whatever, you set up for the next one. And it was just like, to me, in a sick, sort of fascinating way, that was my favorite part, like, just seeing them set everything up, because it's like, if you really think about it, yes, it is just messed up and cruel how these people are just doing this over and over again, and just it's a job to them. It's nothing to them.
Well, it's punishment for this girl. Yes, it is a job for them.
It is a job. So it's like, but at the same time, it made me like just. I was like, I want to work at a haunted place again, because this is exactly like just setting up over and over and over again.
This is them putting on a stage play, except one of the people in the stage play doesn't know it's a stage play.
So it was twisted. I loved it. Like, I thought it was.
Oh, it's a cool episode.
Yeah, it was a really cool episode.
I think it's one of the episodes that's touted as one of the best in the seasons. Yeah. It's not my favorite. I mean, we've already seen one of my favorites. Yeah. I love Be Right Back.
It was
There's a couple other episodes we're going to run across, and I'm going to be like, oh my god, I can't wait. There's a few that I just cannot wait. And season 4 is, I think, fantastic.
Well, I think as far as this week goes, as far as what we're wearing, as far as just this episode falling on our Halloween week, I think this was a nice one.
No, it's a great episode. Yeah. It's a cool episode. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I did too.
But I don't know if there is an episode of Black Mirror that I don't like. I'm sure we'll come across something that I'll be like, this one was fine.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think they do just a fantastic job. I think we have there's 2 more episodes left in this one. There's the Waldo episode.
All right.
No, is it called Waldo?
No, it was Waldo. It was Waldo.
Was it Waldo? Yeah. Anyway, it's more about a talking, like, computer-generated bear. He's on the screen, and a guy sits back behind the screens. He kind of animates and makes him do things and uses his voice to talk. It's on a screen. It's the whole thing, but it's interesting. And
weird.
It's kind of about politics, too.
Oh,
so,
God.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
But that's not the next episode.
No, next week... Oh,
was it White Christmas that's next week, or is that the final
White Christmas?
I'm trying to think of Black Mirror.
Oh, okay.
No.
Anyways.
Yes. Anyway.
Before you confuse our people.
We're going to Twilight Zone next week.
Next week. You sound so disappointed.
I like Black Mirror a lot. Twilight Zone's been kind of hit or miss, okay? I enjoy it. It's not as good as Black Mirror. Okay, I like Black Mirror. Don't.
Anyways, next week on the Twilight Zone episode, it will be, I just read it today, Escape Clause. And it is about I think it was a hypochondriac.
Yes.
Who sells his soul to the devil for immortality.
Sounds
which I
fantastic.
figured you'd get a kick out of.
I like any of the stuff that plays with just much stranger stuff.
Yes.
Let's get as weird as possible. That'll make me happy. But that's going to be the end of this episode. I think we went over good.
Yes.
You're going to go blind from your thing. But anyway. And she's gone. But that is the end. So, as always, you can reach me at BJJ Gamer. Reach Amanda at KZ Pup. Reach the show at Beyond Our Focus on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, Instagram, and lots of podcast services, including Spotify. And just now, this week, we've become we're on Apple Podcasts as well now. So Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, and like 7 or 8 other ones. So we're on a bunch now. But Apple Podcasts is our new one. We're on there now, so that's cool.
Getting up in the ranks.
Please throw a like on here. Throw a dislike if you didn't like our rambling for whatever reason. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of this episode. And unless you got anything else.
Nope, I think we're good.
All right. Till next time. Long days and pleasant nights.
And happy Halloween.
And happy Halloween for tomorrow.